Okay, so today I have a 12-inch spike. It's a timber spike. Yeah, this one hasn't been kinked. These are really common. You can get them in like a 1-pound pack. They're usually like, I want to say they're usually like 8 to 10 of them in a 1-pound pack. You can get them on Amazon. You can get them at your hardware store, you know, whatevs. And they're usually most people's first introduction to braced bending. I have all the keys to successful braced bending and snapping here. I have a towel, let's go Mets. I have my suede wraps. I'm using some David Horn suedes because this is not a bend that's going to drive me a little crazy. It's pretty straightforward. That's why I'm using it to show, to talk technique instead of, you know, hepping myself up with heavy metal music and showing off. And I have a knee wrap because I'm going to snap it. All right. So I want to go over some of the techniques you can use to bend and snap steel in a braced fashion. So I'm going to start with this 12-inch timber spike. And just like I did before, I am chalking my wrap and I have it clamped down here. I'm not taking the cap off of this just because I don't. There's no rhyme or reason to it. I just have seen people cut the head off of nails before. I cut the head off of nails for short bends. I don't mind it as much on the long bends. I'm going to clamp in my other David Horn wrap. Again, basically remnant suede here. I'm just going to wrap this as tightly as I can. And the key here, by the way, I don't know if you can see this, is the key is to get the wrap hanging off about halfway off the end of the bar. These horn wraps give you pretty poor leverage, but you still want to get as much leverage as you possibly can off of them. So you can see if I'm pistol gripping it, which I won't be, you still have about half the wrap on each end. Now, it's common if you're going to be snapping to want to have some kind of padding on your leg. I'm going to show you two different ways to do this because if you're just bending, most commonly what you want to do is I'm rolling up my towel as tightly as I can here. This is a trick I learned from, I want to say, Carl August Mertz, who is on the grip board. And he's just fantastic. He's king of the brace benders. At least he has been in the past. I think if he wanted to come back right now and bend everything in sight, he'd be able to. So I'm just rubber banding my little towel so that I can brace it on my knee. And I'm going to chalk my hands. For braced bends, you just want to worry about the palm. You don't need to do the backs of the hands. Sometimes I will out of habit anyway. But for these short braced bends, I find I get the strongest kink by putting the towel right on my knee, trying to get the spike centered on my knee here. And then I like to figure four my ankle behind my opposing knee and pull up, activating my lats, while I push down with my knee. Okay, so we get a little kink there. Let's see if we can get a little bit more. Want to hold that hit as long as possible. Okay, so I'd say we're probably at about 45 degrees here. And if I'm going to finish the bend, we got a couple of ways we can go. One is to go directly to the thigh crush. Get your hands up as high as you can on your inner thighs. Actually, I'm gonna chalk the backs of my hands here for this. You'll notice I'm wearing jeans. That gives a little bit more purchase. If you wanna have a real bad time, go ahead and do this in like board shorts or basketball shorts or something. Notice my heels are together. I'm actually going to pull my rubber mat over here so that I can get some more grip with my sneakers. My heels are together. I'm gonna get my hands as high up as I can, create tension, and push that in. Now, one thing that I learned is if it's a little bit too wide to do the thigh crush, this is something I don't think most other people do. You can actually put the ends of the bar against your hamstrings, slide your fingers up. I've got them like right here, just on either side of the bend, and just crush your legs together and pull. And it's a little bit too close together for that to be the optimal technique. Right now I am in definitely thigh crush territory, so let's go ahead and do that. And as it gets closer together, you can pull it higher and higher up. You'll notice I'm getting chalk all the way up my legs. And then you'd be okay to finish it here, but when you're doing this for people, you want to set it up in your hands just like you're going to chest crush some short steel, and then just give it one big hit. Because you don't want people to remember your nail down by your nail. You want people to remember the nail up by your chest. You just using your superhuman strength to crunch it, okay? So I'm just pulling the wrap off. You can see that is really nice, really tightly finished, right? Okay. So I'm gonna wrap this back up just real fast and then show some of the technique for snapping. I'm not going to snap the whole thing on video because it would be less than entertaining to watch, but I'm just going to show you some of the tricks that I use. There ain't a lot of technique to it, but there's enough. Okay. First things first. Sorry, trying to keep this on camera wherever possible. One thing that a lot of people do is they will knee wrap or use duct tape, or as David Horn calls it, gaffer tape, which I understand to basically be the same as duct tape, gorilla tape as well. They'll knee wrap the towel right there. And so you try to get it as tight as possible. And ideally, if you're going to knee wrap, you want to tuck it away from where you're going to be bracing your bar. Sometimes I don't even bother with the towel. I just put the knee wrap on because it gives me still enough firmness without adding the squishiness of the towel and worrying about whether it's going to move. So what you want to do is get the arc of your bend, place it, if you have a towel, use your towel. I like to place it just behind your quad. I've got one hand, the one that's coming across my body like this, gonna reach down. So I've got kind of an alternating grip on these and just pull with, in my case, it's my left arm. This is my left arm. Push down at the same time with your right arm. And I find if you rotate, you can get a little bit of your abs in as well. So we've opened it back up. Now just do the same thing again. Thigh crush to close. Open it back up. And the key to snapping is to not do what I'm doing right now. Don't stop. Don't look at it. Don't admire it. Move as fast as you